Our next presenter, Louis Doyle from TSX. The title of his presentation is Exploring Investment Opportunities in Global Mining. Louis Doyle is Vice President, Montreal of TSX Venture Exchange. As such, he is responsible for business development and listing activities in the province of Quebec and the Atlantic Canada. Louis is responsible for managing the Montreal listings team, which reviews and analyzes listings applications filed by listings companies or companies seeking to be listed on the exchange. Louis also develops and implements objectives with respect to business development and the capital raising process for Quebec-based companies. He acts as chairman of TSX Venture Listing Committee. He also leads the nationwide TSX Venture Mentorship Program. Louis develops and manages the relationships between the exchange, its listed companies, prospective issuers, their financial advisors, investors, and relevant securities commissions. He also represents the exchange to different organizations, committees, and groups of professionals. Further, he also acts as regularly as a speaker and advisor. Please let's welcome Louis.
Thank you. I guess we're supposed to have 20 minutes. We already lost 3. Next time I'll follow your advice also, and I'll try to shorten the bio. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you very much. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to meet with you this afternoon. You know, when I first realized that the team was managing through recession, I thought we were simply talking about, 2008. With everything that is happening these days, I guess that 2012 will also likely be a challenge. When we talk about managing recession, I guess it implies the use of everything in your toolkit. And what I would like to show you this afternoon is that access to capital, liquidity for your shareholders are also part of those tools. And hopefully TSX and TSX Venture can play a role in helping you in that regard. Both stock exchanges are subsidiaries of TMX Group. We're a public company also. We're trading on TSX. So our general counsel office never allows us to talk publicly without making reference to this disclaimer. Of course, if I mention any name of listed companies this afternoon, it's not because I'm giving you either a sell or a buy recommendation. It's simply because those are clients and they were part of the presentation. In the next, 16 minutes or so, I will provide you with an overview of TMX Group. We will then look at how significant the Canadian mining industry is, how big it is in terms of a portion of the Canadian market, and also how we compare globally with other international exchanges. And we'll see a few slides that will be showing some of the market performance. You know, in difficult time, you want to team up with strong partners. And I guess TMX Group is a fully integrated marketplace. Our primary businesses are equities, derivative, energy, fixed income trading, and also data. We provide clients with seamless access to derivatives, options, and the equity market. We also have a unique, successful equity market systems. We operate 2 distinct stock exchanges, the Toronto Stock Exchange, which is the home of all major Canadian companies, and also the TSX Venture, which distinguishes itself amongst the world by providing an access to the public market to early stage and emerging companies. Just to give you a few numbers, as of the end of June 2011, the TSX counted a little bit more than 1,500 listed companies for a total market cap of $2.2 trillion. On the TSX Venture side, we had a little bit over 2,200 listed companies for a global market capitalization of $65 billion. Canada, as we all know, is known for its propensity to small and mid-sized companies. This is also reflected in the Canadian exchanges. Of course, we want to remain, and we are the destination of choice for all major Canadian corporations, but at the same time, many of the Canadian public companies are small in size. When you look at this slide, you see that on the TSX venture side, 87% of the issuer have a market cap of less than $50 million Canadian. This is to be expected. The venture is an early stage entry point. What people don't always realize also, though, is that even at the Toronto Stock Exchange level, 30% of their listed companies also have a market cap of less than $50 million. So, meaning a lot of small companies trying to grow. The other uniqueness of our system also is that venture provides clients to the senior board. You see on the left side, on the right side of the slides, that since 2000, 500 companies have graduated from the TSX Venture Exchange to the senior board. Just between January 1st, 2010 and June 30th, 2011, we had 58 of those companies that graduated from the small market to the senior market, and 37 of those companies were from the mining sector. In this slide, what we're trying to show is going public activities on TSX. We all see that after the slowdown in 2008 and 2009, 2010 has shown much bigger number, better number, and the right side shows you financing also. 2009, the note is that a lot of Canadian financial institutions came back to the market. What we see in terms of new listing again, and just to position the mining sector, for the first half of 2011, TSX welcomed 115 new listed issuer. But among those 115, we had 74 of them that were basically structured product and exchange-traded fund. If we carve those out, we see that 65% of the new listing on the Toronto Stock Exchange were coming from the mining sector. This slide shows basically the same stats on behalf of TSX Venture. Again, from a TSX Venture perspective, 149 companies out of the 340 companies listed last year were from the mining sector, and we're trying to reinforce and maintain our dominant position in that regard. Since the beginning of the year, our listed companies on venture raised a little bit more than $7 billion. 60% of that has been raised by mining companies. Let's now see how we compare globally, and that's probably some of the slides that we're the proudest of. You will find out that more than 50% of all the publicly traded mining companies in the world have chosen the Toronto Stock Exchange or the TSX Venture as one of their exchange of destination. Not only we're first in terms of number of companies listed, but we're also ranked first year after year in terms of welcoming new issuer at the same time. That population of mining companies has also performed very well in terms of raising fund. This slide shows that out of the $30 billion that have been raised globally by mining companies, 60% of that $30 billion was raised in 2010 by companies that were mining companies that were listed on TSX or TSX Venture. TSX Venture is characterized by much smaller issuers, so companies that are coming to the market much more often. That's why when we're looking globally in terms of mining financing, 91% of those mining financing were done by a company listed on a Canadian exchange in 2010. If we look at the first half of 2011, our percentage in terms of financing has gone down a little bit, but this is mainly because of the Glencore International IPOs on London earlier this year, whereby they raised close to $10 billion. In terms of number of financing, we're still representing 90% of the number of financing done by mining companies around the world. That propensity or high numbers of mining public companies as always also translated in terms of analyst coverage. And when we're talking about analyst coverage, we always find out that for a same size of issuer, whether it's mining or other sector, you will get more analyst coverage in Canada than you would get in other international markets. Trying to look also at the mining companies and how big they are, where do they work. This slide simply gives you a distribution of mining companies by size. And what's interesting is that, again, on the TSX market, 18% of their 360 mining issuer have a market cap of $1 billion. So that's where you're going to find the brand, the big names. And not only our list is diversified in terms of size of companies, but also in terms of commodities that companies are trying to develop and exploit. Again, major corporation, those are the top 10 mining companies listed on TSX exchange by market cap. When we look at the trading on those companies, 40% of the trading in these 10 companies is taking place in Canada, notwithstanding the fact that those companies are dual listed with New York, NASDAQ, London, and other US exchanges. On the venture side also, we're providing a stepping stone to smaller companies. This is simply a list of the 10 mining companies that compose the mining section of the 2011 TSX Venture Top Companies. Those companies made the ranking based on their market performance, price appreciation, increase in market cap, analyst coverage, as well as liquidity. And our companies are active all around the world. Of course, primary destination is Canada, but we see that the US and South America are ranking second. In terms of project also, our listed companies are involved into over 9,700 different projects across the world. So companies listed in Canada are working everywhere trying to find those deposits. Trying just to look at the sector performance also, just from a mining company's perspective, a 5-year recap, you will see that both in terms of market cap, new listings, number of trades, and capital raise, that we're over 2008, and numbers have shown great improvement over these years. 2010 was a record year in terms of number of trades, as well as in terms of new listing from the mining sector. One last, how am I doing in times? Good? Thanks. I guess this slide talks by itself. It shows that close to 1,000 companies have generated returns, annual returns greater than 50% in 2010, and that 600 of those companies were from the mining sector. So from the difficult 2008 year in terms of performing, those that have been close to the mining sector and that have made the right pick have encountered great returns in that regard. Other example of companies that have performed very well on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Interesting enough, we have First Majestic with over the $2.4 billion market cap, but we see that 6 of those companies have market cap of less than $300 million. So again, a lot of rooms to grow and a lot of room for returns and rewards to investors. We did the same thing in terms of on the venture side. Again, small cap, small companies that have benefited greatly of the commodity prices for most of 2010. And again, returns that really bring the mining sector at the forefront of portfolio management. I guess just to conclude, nobody can predict how the economy will move forwards in 2012. One thing we're there to guarantee, though, is that we will be working close to our mining companies, trying to continue to provide them a better access to financing and to provide even more liquidity to their shareholders. Thank you.
Thanks. Are there any questions for Louis? Comments?
Yes, final forest. So I'm going to relate to that. So with the TSX having investments in mining all over the world and with different laws in different countries, what does the TSX or the TSX Venture do to ensure that there's no frauds going on in this country? What kind of processes do you put?
Yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot of things, but you know, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure we're able to control from A to Z of the process. Whenever a foreign company or a company involved in the emerging market is coming to us, I guess we're relying on audited financial statement. We're relying on due diligence process that are carried by legal advisors and financier. I guess the Sino Forest stories has basically told us that, you know, we have to be more careful, and it brought up to the brightness of the day the difficulties in terms of the reliabilities of financial statements that are generated over there. The good news, though, about the mining sector is that, you know, a deposit is a deposit. In the mining sector in Canada, we have things like 43-101 reports. We have additional safeguards that have been developed over the year. And I guess that's my personal view, but I'm much more confident with our mining companies working abroad than trying to bring other type of industrial activities in the Canadian market.
Any other questions? We're good on time, so don't be shy. If not, let's thank Louis for the presentation. Thank you, Louis. Believe it or not, there's an official conference coffee break, and we should reconvene until 3:55 for the last two presentations. Thanks.